And of course the steering wheel is completely ragged. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. And then, since everything is either black or gray, I think I'm going to paint this. I'll paint it gray. And then, and a little just generic. It'll have a different kind of look to it. Well, I think I can hold on to that. Okay, it looks like 7/16. I hit it with some WD, so I'm hoping that will loosen it up enough. Yes, it did. Okay. Now I've got to take these wires off without breaking them. Okay. That. That looks like it just screws in. No, that's part of the deal. So, now there it is. I don't know what kind of aftermarket steering wheel I might put on this. I might try to go to the pawn shop and see if somebody hadn't pawned one. Because sometimes that's just the kind of stuff you got to sell. And okay. There, plug's off. Well, that is actually kind of soldered in there, so I just got to cut the wire anyway. I can save that, but it's riveted on, so I'm just going to have to cut it off. Cut it off as short as I can. There you go, nice piece of junk. Alright, now, since we looked at the floor shifter, we're not going to need that anymore. So, I'm wondering if I can just take a punch and punch that pin out. That's going to do the trick. Let's see if I've got the punch. It's heavy enough. Okay, found my punch. I'm just gonna come right out. Very nice. Okay, now we got that bit of ugliness there, and I'm wondering about just taking my cutter, cutting that off. I don't know if that's gonna make it look worse. You know, I think for right now, I won't do that. Okay. Alright, well, what I'm going to do is paint this take this off, clean it real well, and then paint that, and then show it all to you in a few minutes. You know, since we're talking about steering columns, the reason I went and bought this other one is because this is the one that came with it. And it was missing the turn signal. It didn't have the key, so I had to get a new tumbler. It didn't have the wiring to it. The wiring is all gone. So it was really just more cost effective to buy a used one. And got the wiring harness and turn indicator, and all the guts are there. So that's really why I went with this used unit. So I think I'm going to paint this the gray that we've been painting all the other interior. But I sanded that down to bare metal, so I'm going to have to hit that with some primer first, and then I'll hit it with a color coat. Okay, a little rattle pan restoration. Okay, that dry. Okay, quick drying primer is done drying. So now I'm going to hit color coat. Do it just like they did in the factory. Get a little overspray down the column there a little bit. I don't know how long that's going to last on that little knob there, but for the time being, it's going to be the answer. And if I can eventually find one that's gray, I'll replace it. But right now, that's what it's going to be. Okay. There you go. I think that's a fairly good job. And then after that's dry, tomorrow I'll go get some of that matte clear that we've been putting on. Takes a little of that sheen off of there. Kind of like the look of that. So that will be tomorrow. So I think for tonight, I think I'm done.